With Pokemon being one of the most successful franchises of all time, they've had tons of main series games out there. Now, I've got the question. What question is that? How much would it be to own every single mainline series game? Let's find out the answer to that question today. I'm Doug's the Name, and we're going to be solving the mystery. Also in this video, we won't be going over any of the spin-offs in the series because that would get even pricier. So, let's get to it. Starting off, we're going to go over the first generation of Pokemon. That's right, that's going to include Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. All prices that you see here today are going to come from their website, Price Charting, which shows an average sales view from the last sales of recent purchases of all these games. Starting with Pokemon Red, it will cost you nowadays $53 to purchase it. With Pokemon Blue, it's $45 to purchase it. And with Pokemon Yellow, it is $42 to purchase it. With all of those combined, it equals $140 for the entire first generation of Pokemon. This is in fact above the $90 retail price you would have paid originally, with all of them coming in at $29.95 to own them originally. Next up, we have our second generation of Pokemon. This consists of Gold, Silver, and of course Crystal. First up, we have Pokemon Gold, which is going to run you about $48. Next up, we have Pokemon Silver, which will bring you the grand total of $50. And lastly, we have Pokemon Crystal, which comes in at a whopping $120. With all these three games combined, it's going to run you a total of $218, with once again the originals costing you just $90 at retail price. All this brings up to a difference of $128 you're paying more than when these games first came out. Next up on our list is Generation 3, the Hoenn region for the most part. There are 5 games that consist of this generation, which include Pokemon Ruby, Pokemon Sapphire, Pokemon Emerald, Pokemon Fire Red, and Pokemon Leaf Green. Up first, we have Pokemon Ruby, which currently will run you $72 if you'd like to pick that up. Next, we have Pokemon Sapphire at $62. After that, we now have Pokemon Emerald, which comes in at a whopping $160. Of course, that is with battery replaced because most of the batteries have run dry on most of these. Next up is Pokemon Fire Red, which will run you $85. And then the last of the bunch is Pokemon Leaf Green at $80. The grand total for Generation 3 comes out to $459, as opposed to the original $150 that would have cost you to own all of these games. That means we're paying a difference of $309 today compared to when these games first came out. Up next, we've got the fourth generation of Pokemon. This generation consists of Pokemon Diamond, Pokemon Pearl, Pokemon Platinum, Pokemon Heart Gold, and Pokemon Soul Silver. First up, we have Pokemon Diamond, which comes in at $32 today. Next up, we have Pokemon Pearl, which will ring you up $31. Next up, we have Pokemon Platinum coming at $90. Following that, we have the two most expensive games of this entire generation. First off being Pokemon Heart Gold, which comes in at $114. And then followed behind that is Pokemon Soul Silver at $120. All that together will cost you $387, which is ironic because the Pokédex that ended for Gen 3 was $386, but I know it's a different generation, but it's still kind of cool that it's close to an overall Pokédex number at the time. Anyway, the total that it would have cost this for you originally at retail price was $185. With that being said, it's a total of $202 difference today than when you could have bought them brand new. Moving on to the fifth generation of Pokemon, this one consists of Pokemon Black, Pokemon White, and then Pokemon Black 2 and Pokemon White 2. Starting with Pokemon Black, that will ring you up $80, Pokemon White will get you $65, Pokemon Black 2 is $125, and Pokemon White 2 is $120. And the total for Generation 5 is $390. The original retail price for all of these combined would have been $140, so that means we're paying a difference of $250 more now than we did back then. Up next is the sixth generation of Pokemon, which consists of Pokemon X, Pokemon Y, Pokemon Omega Ruby, and also Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. First up, we've got Pokemon X, which comes in at $28, then Pokemon Y, which comes in at $30, then Pokemon Omega Ruby, which also comes in at $30, and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, which comes in at $28. With that total combined, all these games will now cost you $116 to own, which is better than the original retail price of them, which came in at $160. That means you're saving $44 compared to original retail price. Next up, we have the 7th generation of Pokemon. These games consist of Pokemon Sun, Pokemon Moon, Pokemon Ultra Sun, Pokemon Ultra Moon, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Yes, it's the first time a generation went into the Switch of the modern era. Starting with Pokemon Sun, you can pick that up for $19 right now. And then you have Pokemon Moon, which is also found at $19. Then there's Pokemon Ultra Sun at $32, Pokemon Ultra Moon at $31, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu at $32, and then Pokemon Let's Go Eevee at $30. With all those 6 games combined, the total now rings you up at $163. That comes to a total of $117 less than when it originally retailed. Next up, we have the modern generation of Pokemon on the Switch, and that involves the 8th generation here, and that consists of Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Pokemon Shining Pearl, and Pokemon Legends Arceus. With Pokemon Sword coming in at $26, Pokemon Shield coming in at $25, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond coming in at $32, Pokemon Shining Pearl coming in at $27, and then Pokemon Legends Arceus coming in at $35. With all those games combined, the total of them to own them nowadays is $145. This is in fact also better than the original retail price of $300. With that being said, there's a total of a difference of $155 that you're now saving compared to when these first launched. Up last but not least is the 9th generation of Pokemon. This consists of Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. Now these games do have DLC on the way, as well as Sword and Shield do have DLC, but we're not counting that at this moment in time. This is just priced for the original base games of what they are. And with that being said, Pokemon Scarlet you can now pick up at $36 used, and then Pokemon Violet you can also find at $35 used. With these 2 games, you can pick them up for the total of $71. This is better than the retail price right now, currently for brand new of $120. This means you're saving a total of $49 on the 9th generation as of right now. With everything added up to own every single Pokemon game right now from the main series of games, it would cost you $2,089. Now, the original retail price of all of these games went for $1,455. That's right, to own every main series Pokemon game right now, it would cost you $634 more than if you bought them at the original retail price. So what does your collection look like? Please let me know in the comments below if you have any of these games.